Welcome back to another tea chat. Hi friend. So I'm going to talk about how the situation came up for me to have a conversation with one of my grandsons and my granddaughter about my autism. I got a new mug I ordered from my shop. I really like it. What it says is, "I'm not masking for you today." Now, I wish this could be my attitude all the time to everybody, but it is not. But this is a place I would like to get to at some point with most people. You can check it out in my shop on my channel. Today I'll be having blueberry sage stress relief. What kind of tea will you be having? And I like to put stevia for some sweetener. Sometimes I'll put honey in there. I think these mugs are cute, and you can actually get them in different colors. Like you can get them in a navy blue, so it's not just the color you see here. So what I wanted to talk about today was when we are diagnosed with autism and we decide it's time to talk to family about it, or friends, or whoever in your life, where you feel like you just get the courage to do it then. The right moment comes along. It's just the right time to talk to others about it. It has taken me pretty much almost 3 years to get to the point where I feel like I can talk to my grandkids about it more confidently. And, family members, just people in general, my son. So a situation presented itself to talk to my granddaughter. She came over and spent the night. Now, she's not autistic. She does have ADHD, so she's neurodivergent as well. And she likes to get on my laptop sometimes, and I guess one of my videos popped up from my channel, the one about where I was like post breakdown and telling adults how to help those that are autistic after a breakdown. She saw the picture of me crying in the thumbnail and asked me what that was about. So she knows that I'm autistic. I did an interview with her that you can go check out. I'll put it down in the description if you want to go watch that video afterwards. And I talked to her a little bit about autism, but that was a few years ago. She's 11 now. So it's more, I feel like, of a time where she'll be able to understand. And especially since her brothers, two out of her 3 brothers were diagnosed with autism. Now, I explained to her about the purpose of that video. It had a purpose. Yes, I was putting myself out there by showing what a breakdown looks like for me, at least about 5 seconds of one. But I had a purpose behind it, and it wasn't for people to feel sorry for me. It was really to help neurotypical, to help their loved ones who are autistic after a breakdown. I had a lot of good points in that video, so feel free to share it with somebody who doesn't understand breakdowns. I used to call them meltdowns, but then I felt like that word sounds too much like a tantrum of a 3-year-old. So I just like to use the word breakdown, but what I'm meaning is in the sense of meltdown, which is an external view of what you're going through that others can see, the anguish on the outside. So I was explaining the purpose behind that video, and she thought that was pretty cool. Now, I'll probably talk to her a lot more about it. The other grandchild that I've had an opportunity to talk about my autism, and this is new for us to even discuss it, is my 8-year-old grandson who was diagnosed with autism this year, or the end of last year. And I believe his mom told me he's level 2, I want to say. When we had the chance, we were by ourselves. And I said, "Did I hear you were diagnosed with autism?" And he said, "Maybe." And I said, "Oh, well, cool." I said, "I'm autistic too." I said, "If anyone can understand you, I can." And he just kind of put on half a smile. Like he was happy to hear he could identify with somebody in the family. So I've opened those lines of communication for him in that way. We talked a little bit. He told me that he gets tired of talking to people. We had talked about a few minutes, And he made that statement and then he walked away. And I understood, and as he was walking away, I said, I understand. I get tired of talking to people too sometimes. So those have been two instances where I felt like discussing my autism and talking about it. Now, my son is 15 and I really haven't talked to him much about it. For some reason, it just seems hard to do. He is very hyperactive, has a hard time sitting still even at 15, and I don't know, it just hasn't felt like the time has been right. Now he knows I have a channel. Maybe he's even watched some videos. I don't know. I don't ask him to watch them. But I feel like I'm finally getting at a point where I can explain to him more about why I experience things. Now he saw recently when I went through an episode of shame and guilt and depression, and he sees moments like that in my life. So I'm sure at 15 he can tell there's a difference in me as a neurodivergent parent and then his friends' parents. But I want to talk to him more about it, about how things affect me and how that affects my ability to parent. And I feel like my son knows I love him. I do hug him. I do tell him I love him. And I am trying. And I try for my children and grandchildren for them to know that I love them. So sometimes it's hard to tell people you love how you feel. And when we are autistic, it's hard to express our emotions. I don't think there's a right way or wrong way to do it necessarily. It's just what's comfortable to you when it comes to talking to people about autism. You don't have to tell anybody about your diagnosis if you don't want to. It's a personal decision. If you go for a job interview or you get hired at a job, you're not going to say, "Hi, I'm Gina and I have diabetes." So why is it that we feel like we're hiding something from people to not tell them about our diagnosis? I think, this is just my personal opinion, is because people can see our behavior on the outside. It's different. You have a right not to talk to people about it, but if you work in an office and you feel like you behave differently than your coworkers, an opportunity presents itself, you might feel like you want to open up and tell them. So it kind of clears the air for you. People in my office know about my diagnosis as well as my boss, as well as who else knows. And I've gotten to where I'm okay with that and comfortable with that. And I wasn't in the beginning. It was hard. But after you tell people about your diagnosis, they may see you for a while and the word autism is across your forehead and that's all they see. But the more that you interact with people, the more I think that goes away. And I think that people will see you for you. But I also feel like when we tell people of our diagnosis, continuing to act, quote, normal, adhering to social norms and standards, I think that's what they possibly think autism is. If we're acting like them, they don't think it's any different than what they do. They don't see the internal struggles. And so in a sense, it can backfire if we feel the need for high masking after telling of a diagnosis. People don't see anything different. So it makes it confusing for people. So I think, it's important to tell people when you want to, if the time's right, you want to share that. But it's important to try to become more of what your natural self is. Less masking. You don't have to mask all the time. We have to tell ourselves, you don't have to mask all the time. You can mask a little less. In 2025, that can be a goal, to mask a little bit less. In fact, I made a whole video about that. You can check that out. But that's my goal this year, to be a little more of myself. So I want you to go down there in the comments, and I want you to talk about who have you been comfortable telling about your autism diagnosis? How did you share it with them? Way back, a few years ago when I was diagnosed, I actually gave my parents a piece of paper, some pieces of paper that I printed up on autism to read with them because I didn't want to miss anything. That's how I chose to share to my parents about my diagnosis. So you can choose whatever way you want. You could share a video. You can print up some literature that you like. You can talk about your experiences in retrospect, what you've noticed when looking back on your life and childhood, what things you see now. People may accept your diagnosis and people may not. But what is the most important thing is that you accept it, because that's what matters. This is about you understanding yourself and what you're going to do with that. Just know you may go on a journey of ups and downs with your diagnosis, and that's normal. That's happened for me. I'm sure that happens for about everybody that gets an autism diagnosis. Hope you enjoyed my new lighting. I have some new lighting here, and I'll share with that coming up what I used in case you are interested in starting a channel. I'll show you what this looked like without lights, and with the lights how it improved. Now I have a long way to go, there's no doubt about that, when it comes to lighting and sound, but I want to learn more about that this year. My focus has been on editing videos. I just like to put clips together with sounds and effects, and that's where I think my strengths lie. Lighting and sound is not where my strength lies, but it's something I want to get better at.
Hello, I'm Barney. Super duper kind of day.
Incredible Hulk. I bought this new set. I got it at Walmart, and it's the most expensive piece of equipment I've bought so far, and that's just like $35, if that tells you anything. So felt like after a couple years, maybe it's time to step it up a notch on light. So we'll see how this Bauer set works for content creating. I wonder if it can take away these wrinkles. Can it be so bright that it just takes away my wrinkles? We'll see. Oh no, we have tools. I may have to put something together. No lights. 2 lights. I think we'll just stick with this light. While we're talking about equipment that I use, just in case you're thinking about starting a channel, I use the Power DY's microphone here, and this is easy vlogging. I like it pretty well. I like that it gives me freedom to walk around. It's got a little bit of a cord here. So yeah, start your own channel. Go for it. What are you waiting for? See you in the next video. Bye.